Yay, son, who I didn't know until like a year ago. You're Robin now.
Yeah.
What's Robin? I don't know, but you're him. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
doesn't make any sort of sense. You know, you gotta have the legacy
Yeah.
behind it. Like, you can skip
Mm-hmm.
out Robins. I prefer if they didn't, but you can skip Robins and go straight to whatever ones. But hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around Multiverse with your host, the two boy wonders, the man who stopped being Robin because I started growing hair on my legs, Carl Charles, and
Funny you mentioned that. Actually, I'll cover that later, right? Uh, and the only guy who was actually a teenager when he played the boy wonder, CY Chung.
oh, okay,
And yeah, today's episode, just to cover what you're saying, right?
yep,
We're gonna go through the live action Robins, Dick Grayson versions, right away, because there's more iterations of that, and none of them are comic accurate, I'd say, as
no,
far as origin goes. Yeah.
yeah, no, it'll
Um,
mix and match.
and then we'll maybe throw in a bit of Jason Todd and
Timothy
Tim
Drake,
Drake in the end,
yeah,
because they're relevant in Titans, which we're going to cover a little bit
yeah, yeah,
of. But yes, the first iteration of Robin was in the 1943 Batman serial in the cinema. That dude, Douglas Croft, he was a 16-year-old when he actually played Robin.
oh.
You didn't watch it, right?
No, I looked at the thing you sent me. I was like, this
yeah,
my
exactly.
attention span
Because I know you have an aversion to watching things
yeah,
beyond this far
beyond
back a certain period, right?
yeah, my brain just can't take it.
But I sent you the like
Yeah.
YouTube reviews for you to watch as well,
Yeah.
so you can get an idea of it. And I have to say, as far as he looks like a kid, and he fights like a kid as well, because the thugs, all they like in the 40s, they don't fight with any style whatsoever, right?
No.
So just throwing left and right. And not even Batman, it's not even fighting with boxing style. They're just just throwing haymakers left and yeah. And Robin was getting beat up like a kid would get beat up. So I was like, that's fairly accurate to if you're fighting a teenager as well. So
this is before the world
Yeah.
knew what martial arts was. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And the next guy playing Robin was in the 1949 Batman series, Johnny Duncan, which he was okay. So this guy was 25 when he played Robin, and he had to wear tights to cover his hairy legs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he did look like he didn't look like a teenager, right? I don't know what the height of him in comparison to the guys playing Batman were.
Yeah.
And Batman's usually 6'2" in the DC Comics continuity.
Yeah.
However,
16.
Michael Keaton was 5'7", so
I keep forgetting he was that short. Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
Yeah. So, but that Robin, Johnny Duncan, he just looked like a dude who was a man playing not even a man playing a boy, by the way. He was a man
Yeah,
of a certain height.
he was a man who's been a man for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Best way to put it.
Which was something. And you didn't miss much, by the way, watching any of these, not watching any of these, because they're not.
Great.
I want to say they're particularly comic accurate, but the character had only been around since what 1939ish.
9 at that point, so it's not like
9,
10
so
years.
they didn't have any comics history to really adapt, and didn't even adapt his circus background. You just think, oh, flips and dives or rolls and tumbles and stuff. No,
no,
it's just copy and paste character. It could have been it could have been anyone.
That's
at least the guys playing Batman had the playboy persona they were using.
Yeah,
the rich guy persona. It's just like, well, we here for Robin. Why are you here?
Yeah,
just there because the comics say you're there.
That's kind of bad.
The 1943 Batman, though, is racist against Japanese people.
Yeah, I saw the guy said that. I was like, okay,
but actually, it's not that racist when you watch it.
Yeah,
it's wartime. There's propaganda and whatever like that. So I let it slide because it's deliberately done that way.
Yeah.
Evil Japs or whatever they are, right? Even though it's got a white dude I'd say he's in yellow face, but because he's black and white, you can't really tell.
He's in some sort of face. Yeah.
He's definitely not Japanese though. He's definitely got the eyeliner on, and when they actually have a Japanese dude, the Japanese soldier who's passing the message, just like, well, okay, yeah.
Is it? Does he do? Does he do the terrible accent?
Yeah, he does actually. The Ming the Merciless accent. Yeah. But look, as far as racism goes, I'd say right. It's not mockingly racist. It's just at the time of production, they were doing particular things, and you'd be like, all right, well.
Yeah, it was of the time sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not even like it's fair for of the times. It's just more like this is set in a particular situation where the US have a beef against Japan, so we are just gonna, It's not like they're just making a mockery of them and be like, look at them, quote unquote inferior people.
Yeah,
they're just jokes to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So but that's that, right?
Yeah.
As far as the Robin characters go in both of these, right? Why? Yeah. You could have just done the Batman solo serial at that point, you know.
Or better yet, not even did it.
You mean the racist one? Well, I say racist, but you know, the wartime racist one or the other one?
Both.
Or you mean both of them all together?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the only reason why I say that is right because, like you kind of said, because there's not enough like backstory or like mythology for the characters. So I'm like, okay.
Well, it's I'm like, if you're gonna use the character, then use some of their backstory. What's the point of having the character there if it's not going to be the character? But then again, even nowadays it happens. So what can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
Comparisons to be made. There's just nothing much to say about those particular Robin versions.
No. They're just there. Yeah.
I mean, if we were doing the Batmans, then they might be a bit more we could say. Well, in compared to them. And we could even cast the Batman costumes because they're terrible.
Yeah.
I will say, with the Robin costumes, the domino masks, right?
Yeah.
They do take up a third of their face. It's quite solid. It's quite high. It's from the middle of their forehead to underneath the nose. That is quite a chunk of face obscuring there.
It's a bit much.
Well, I would say, logically speaking, if you're wearing those masks, I know your hair and all that other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But at least there's enough of your face where you'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas we've seen Dick Grayson's Robin mask, and it's like you just can't, that black strip across your eyes doesn't really do much to disguise you.
Yeah, it's true. Only because it looks better when it's smaller, but then obviously it's in comic wise, isn't it? But right.
I'll agree with that. In fact, actually, we'll rate all the costumes afterwards, right? What do you? So as far as those two Robins from the 40s go, we can push them aside right now.
Yep. Put them in the bin.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just as far as where Comic Zachary is concerned, they're not. They're not,
but
comic character.
No, but then it was the 1940s.
Kind of are, but So the next Robin we'll go to is 1996. Wait, 1966.
Yes.
Burt Ward Robin, which is probably the first Robin you encountered, right? Because it was the one I. Yes. What did you think of this guy?
Annoying.
Wait. Isn't that what the Robin character is supposed to be as a distraction?
Yeah, but it's more of a distraction. Like, gee whiz, Batman and blah blah blah. Batman, I'm incompetent. I can't do much.
Do you think they were trying to make him too much like a team? That's why they gave him all that sort of, I'd say, young hip dialogue. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, and the people who wrote this had never spoke to a teenager.
Maybe they were never teenagers before.
Yeah, they just skipped to manhood. Well, it was the 60s, but that sort of stuff did happen. Yeah, I don't know. I always just found him incompetent. Like, what did Robin really do in that series?
AKA the boy hostage, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
At least the other two never got held up hostage like you would expect them to.
Robin in that got all the time.
Batman had to rescue them all the time.
And what's the other thing about him? I don't really like that. He sort of was like Mr. Plot Device, like, or Mr. Info Dump. Like, oh, gee, Batman, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's right, my little friend. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
rarely in shows do you get an actor so good that it can actually be the info dump and it still actually plays as part of the character. Like in
Yeah.
Smallville, Alison Becker plays Chloe. They
Yeah.
give her all the dialogue that she has to explain everything, and she plays it all well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say, oh, it's natural, because sometimes you have a big chunk of exposition. You're like, would people
Why?
say
Yeah.
this?
That doesn't seem like genuine. No, like the real conversation. Like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, the meteor hit this and blah, 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 and no, blah, 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 5 minutes later. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And even him, even that Ward, who probably has the most hours logged as actual Robin.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Because the Brenton Thwaites probably has.
Oh yeah. Because there's like 4, 5
4 seasons of that.
Yeah. So yeah, he has.
And the episodes were longer as well.
Yeah.
But okay, the second most, yeah.
Yep.
But Ward had second most. They didn't even go into his origins. He was just suddenly there with Batman, just like with the 2 in the 40s. Just there he is next to Batman, done, dusted.
Okay.
Yeah, what happened to his parents? No, he's just there. Why has he got a different surname if he's living with Bruce? Oh well, you know what?
Yeah.
Those are, it's he is who he is. This Ward, adopting kids.
Because they like you said, they never make any reference to his parents, do they? Oh.
As far as I know from the 60s series, as much as I've watched of it,
Yeah.
he just appears with Batman, and you don't even know why.
Because like you can at least throw like a throwaway line. Because even like it's kind of a bit compared, not in the same time. Like Batman animated series, right?
Yeah.
When Robin appears, it's kind of like a throwaway line. He kind of mentions it, and then later on they have his origin. Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, all right.
Wait, you're talking about Dick Grayson Robin, yeah?
Yeah.
Because they also do the origin for Tim Drake Robin.
Yeah, which is kind of Jason Todd's origin, but yeah.
Yeah, and then they have Jason Todd in the comic book.
Yeah.
Like Batman, and they just lay on. It's just like, well, okay, hold on.
Yes. One of these things is not canon, but yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's mentioned, but yeah, you can't just have a boy there, and it's where people got confused. Like maybe he's Batman's son, but he's like, oh no, my little chum. It's like, but you wouldn't call your son chum, right? You call your son son. I'm confused.
Yeah.
This relationship.
Yeah.
I feel
Who knows exactly, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying you don't have a particular fondness of this version of Robin?
Nah.
Because he's too try hard.
Yeah.
He's a 21-year-old guy trying to pretend to be a teenage kid.
Yeah.
Is that part of why you dislike it, or you just be like, the stuff he's saying is it's not even what you would expect people to be saying in the 60s?
Yeah, it's that the second, and like. It's one of those things. I learned to appreciate the Adam West Batman as I got older.
Yeah.
But with Robin, it hasn't changed my opinion. Like, oh, he's still just annoying. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Fair. I will say, yeah. And you, like you're saying, you would have thought, okay, they would go into the origins. I suppose in a campy series like that, you might not want to show Psychus.
Yeah.
Or from the trapeze, blah blah blah. But.
Yeah.
You could say his parents died in an accident, and that's why he got adopted. I don't.
There's so many ways around it.
Circus tragedy.
Tragedy. Or you can just say, like he's just looking after him while his parents are in whatever. You know, it's like something just like so we know he's got parents. I mean, like.
Well, we might not have parents in that continuity. Who knows? You know what I mean?
But then, how was he born?
No, as in parents that are still alive.
Yeah. He meant like he was.
And you say that, by the way, how was he born? But have you read Batman? What's the one? Batman. I want to say Ends of the Earth, but it's not Ends of the Earth because that's a Spider-Man thing. It's the story where Batman makes it's a Batman clone. Scott Snyder wrote it. Greg Capullo did the artwork. And then it turns out the original Batman is the main villain of the series. I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
But yeah, that Batman didn't have parents. That clone Batman, because he got cloned. So it could be you could have and in the 60s as well. I mean, this wasn't the 60s. This was in the 2000s. In 2015, 18, I don't know. I can't remember. But you know the wacky stuff they did in the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they technically could just create a Robin, but you remember the Batman movie where it was the leaders of the world and they dehydrated them to powder.
Yeah.
And then they added water later on and rehydrated them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 60s. You get away with weird things like that. Huh.
All right. Okay.
Fair enough.
But you're not rating this Robin whatsoever.
No.
Okay.
Minus 5 stars, dude.
I will say, at least he looked youthful and acted
the
appropriate age of the character.
Yeah.
And his costume was pretty decently comics accurate, I will say.
Yeah.
I know he had the flesh-colored tights, yeah.
But, yeah, but what it is.
You know, I will allow that.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Okay. So then we're only left with 2 Robins, right?
Yes.
Okay, you know what? Shall I take a guess of which of these 2 is your, I say favorite, but the one you favor more?
Yeah, take us.
Okay. Damn. All right. You know what? I'm gonna. Okay. So I could go for the slightly more accurate Robin, or the one that's completely haywire. And I will say, you know, I'm gonna say the tires Robin. I feel like you're more you enjoy that version more, even though I hate that version. But
yeah, I enjoy that version more. He's more
okay.
He's more of a human being. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We'll get to that in just a sec, right? Because we'll chronologically cover the Robins, yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think then of Chris O'Donnell's Robin? In Batman Forever, 1995, and Batman and Robin 1997.
Mm-hmm. Quick side note. Batman Forever turns 30 this year. I think it turns 30 today when we're over recording.
And would you be interested? I believe they're going to try and put out the Schumacher cut or whatever.
Yeah. If they do, I'll be interested in watching that, because I don't mind that.
Because I'm wondering. I mean, obviously, Batman Robin is the live-action cartoon, or a stealth sequel to the '60s series.
Yeah.
But it's the transition between Batman Returns and Batman Forever. That the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever is supposed to be actually more in tune with
the
being a proper sequel to. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I heard rumblings.
I don't know.
Because I've heard rumblings about
more
it.
Ideas that were in that direction.
Yeah. If they actually get it out, yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah. Or even if they actually did it in a comic book, I would read that. But yeah. So Chris, even as a kid, right, when I saw Batman Forever, and I saw this Robin, and I was like, he's too old to be adopted by a man. Like, why is this guy in his mid-20s?
It is true. He was definitely not looking. The thing is, you get Ralph Macchio, who was playing the Karate Kid, Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah.
And he was 22 when he did the first film.
Yeah.
But he looks like a kid.
He looked like a kid, yeah.
Yeah. And like you say, Chris O'Donnell looked like he maybe could have been 19 at a push, right?
He looked at least like from like in 20s.
Yeah, exactly. He was definitely not like, under a certain age.
No. And wasn't just that, it's like his origin was a bit weird to me.
Funny enough, I will say, probably the most comic accurate origin
to a certain extent.
All these Robins. Yeah. And that just tells you how wacky they are.
Yeah. Because, like, you sent me the clip of how he became, like, the death of his parents.
Yeah.
And
where they had the cloth version of the Tim Drake costume that the Flying Graysons wore. I'm like, all right, that's just kind of a nod and a wink, but not really, because it's the wrong one.
Yeah. I was like, that's a bit weird. And then he had 2 brothers, right?
Yeah.
And I was like,
he definitely had a brother. I can't remember if he had 2.
I think it was 2 of them.
Maybe the other one was his dad.
No, because like you see, there's 4 bodies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was nothing.
Maybe one of them's his uncle. They're just nameless Graysons.
Either way,
brother.
Then if his cousins, why couldn't Robin go and live with that cousin's parent?
They didn't have children. It's the mother, the father, the uncle, and the brother. Yeah, That's the 4 people. Even I've got 5 fingers there. I meant they're the 4 people that, and Robin himself. That's 5, right? Dick Grayson himself. So the other 4, the uncle didn't have kids, the brother didn't have kids, and and then mom and dad just.
Either way, that was even the kid was like, this doesn't seem right.
Well, and by the way, you say that, which is kind of funny as well. Let me just interrupt you there with a hot tag and say that Bruce Wayne's uncle was still alive, and he did go live with him.
Yeah, because I think it's something in his ball about Alfred looking after him. So.
Just you allow it for one thing, or you don't allow it for another thing.
No, it's just like.
But Colonel Kane was not in existence at that point either.
No, it wasn't until like later on, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so I was like, this seems weird, and then the other thing that seemed weird to me was Alright, it's nothing to do with Robin. It's just the whole scene itself is weird.
But the circus death scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he thinks off to to roll the bomb down a hill or whatever, right? And then all these people like Two-Face comes. I know Nightwing, sorry, not Night. I know him as Nightwing, you know. Dick Grayson family. Dick Grayson has history with Two-Face, right? Yeah. So I kind of got that right, but then the whole I'm gonna take over this circus and I'm gonna kill everyone unless Batman shows himself. Okay, so
well, as far as his logic is concerned, Two-Face's logic is like, oh yeah, Batman must be one of Gotham's elite because he's got all those gadgets, right? I know it's a leap to make, right? I'm not saying that whether it's right or wrong or whatever, but it's just like, okay, Two-Face, you have a hunch, and you basically held a bunch of hostages over something that you had no information on.
Yeah, because say Bruce Wayne wasn't there, like, so, all right, say
not even Bruce Wayne,
like say the person whoever Batman isn't there. Yeah. So say Batman's like on the other side of Gotham.
Yeah.
How's he gonna get there by the time it doesn't make.
Yeah.
There's no logic to this.
Hey, you say that doesn't make sense. Let me tell you, Kung Fu dry laundering. What?
Yeah.
But to be fair, I have not tried it, so I don't know if it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think it does because I think it would have took off by now. I mean, like, things.
Yeah.
And then, like, the Bruce Wayne bit when he gets up and goes, "I'm Batman." Not like Harvey, I'm Batman. I was like, dude, you're Batman, right? You're one of the smartest people in the world, right? Did you really think that in a room full of people shouting, he's gonna hear you say that you're Batman?
Yeah. To be fair, then he tries to fight his way all the way down there to tell Harvey that he's Batman. But at that point, the bomb is got 6 seconds left, and yeah.
It's rolling too. And then the Graysons die. Like,
Yep.
And doesn't he
Batman's
come up?
like...
Doesn't Dick come up just in time to see them like hit the ground or something like that? I'm like, wait, what?
Well,
That's
yeah. I mean, yes and no, because in the film they're not going to show that, right? But yeah. He comes back in time from the top of the tent. Yeah.
Oh, this is hilarious.
And then Bruce Wayne decides he's going to adopt a 25-year-old, but I don't think he's supposed to be 25 in.
Is he meant 18? Because I think they say after this bit, they kind of say how old he is. I think they say 18. I'm like, even 18 in America, you're an adult, so no one can.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Okay, well, so are you not a fan of this origin of Robin, or you're just not a fan of the execution of the character in this film?
No, like the character's fine. I like after this point, I actually don't mind the character, except for like you said, the Kung Fu laundry stuff. And
look, like that's a gimmick. I allow it. He's got to show his ability to be able to do the martial arts, so he can become Robin.
Yes, they get around of him not getting trained by Batman. Yes, exactly. Which I get. Yeah, then his portrayal in the film's all right because obviously he's seen his family died, so he wants revenge. Yeah. So like, the way he acts, it's in line with everything was going on. So I have no problem with that.
Are you comparing, by the way? Because it's similar to me. What we might be comparing to is how we perceive Nightwing now, and then backtrack that to how we perceive his Robin character would be.
No.
Okay.
No. I feel like
Right.
Nightwing now is still a happy-go-lucky sort of guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't think this Robin is a happy-go-lucky guy.
Okay, I was going to say this is probably Chris O'Donnell's execution of the character is more how I'd be thinking that's how, of all these Robins, the one that's more like the character we see in the comics, except of course none of them are, and it's a big stretch.
Yeah. I just feel like he's kind of like, I'm happy to be here, sort of.
Yeah.
But not like.
But then, yeah, go on.
Happy. Like, if that makes any sense. It's like, hey, I'm
okay, so
I'm employed.
So the first two Robins are just there to be there, not even happy to be there. Just you know what I mean? You know, if they were missing, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But Ward's Robin, you're saying is too far up the happy stratosphere that he's just too much, right?
Happy that like he comes off as Stockholm syndrome victim.
yeah, okay. And then you got the Robin we're about to speak about, Brenton Thwaites Robin, which I will say is such a miserable bastard, right?
Yeah, he
like,
is.
He's not even Robin. He's more Jason Todd, except that it's Jason Todd, and he's gonna go even more JasonDd.
Like when we get to it, I'll explain why he's the way he is and why I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, you would explain why you enjoy his characterization, right?
Yeah.
That's not the same as why he is the way he is.
No.
Okay.
And
but that's what I'm saying, guys. I think this version of Robin is closer to the comics because he's got the presence and charisma, but he's there and he's a character.
Is he?
And he's not. But he's not just there so Batman could do this, that, or the other. You know, he actually has a role and an arc in the story itself.
Yeah, in Batman
Whether you
Forever.
can say it's great or not, you know, that's different.
In Batman Forever, you kind of have a point, but then in Batman and Robin, why is he there?
Yeah.
He literally just you're sort of eye candy, I guess, or like you're Bruce's romantic rival.
Yeah, and when you say eye candy as well, I mean they got their cod pieces out,
and
the nipples on their suits. So I don't see. I mean, if that's what they are, that's what they are, right?
Yeah.
And then when they turn around to pull their trunks, the rubber costumes that you see their butt as well, and you're like, right, why? But I mean, fair dues. Then they do it to Batgirl as well, so it's right?
Sexism everywhere.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna do it both ways,
equal opportunities. But then it kind of makes sense because of the orientation of the director. But like I like him.
That's why we get two men putting on anatomically correct suits with the codpieces, and only one woman, and then she gets quicker cuts.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. Because so I like him in Batman. I like him in Batman Forever. Like I think it was a good introduction to the character. I just feel like in Batman and Robin, even though he is in the title Robin, he don't do anything.
I will say personally, that portrayal in Batman and Robin, I would say, is a bit more of the happy-go-lucky swashbuckler type of Dick Grayson.
I don't know. He just
even though I think they're all acting as in the cartoon, but he's at least not. He's not overly depressed or anything like. Always coming out of depression in Batman and Forever, and he wants to kill Two-Face and stuff like that. It's like, it's. Batman's the one that's consumed by vengeance, Robin, yes, okay, Dick Grayson does see his parents die in front of him and stuff like that, and he wants to murder Tony Zuko or Two-Face in this instance, but it's just like, we don't step over that line, right? Except for Batman, hypocritically, Batman's like, oh yeah, Joker murdered my parents and I'm going to kill him, but Robin, Dick Grayson, you don't do that, right?
Yeah, which I'm okay with, I guess, but I don't know, he does say to him, because night after night you become the Avengers and you become whatever, so you don't go to do that. So at least there is a certain amount of logic to it. Yeah,
they try. I think they try, but
they try. Yeah. But like I feel like the writers and stuff had loads of stuff for him to do in Batman Forever, but in Batman Robin, literally, he just
I mean, look, they're not great films in themselves, right?
No. One's vastly
Okay,
superior
so
than the other, but
yeah.
yeah, I just don't know.
On to your favorite. Go on, give me the lowdown on your favorite Robin.
All right, the reason why
Favorite version of Dick Grayson.
the reason why I'm alright with this one, right? Because they come from a crappy world, right?
Okay.
And everyone's just a dick. So I was like, all right.
All right.
It's not just like he's the only dick in the whole series. Everyone else is.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm alright with that. It's kind of like
right,
to me a more reasonable reason for being dicks than in the Ultimate Universe, where everyone's just dicks.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't mind. He's the sort of jaded Robin that, you know, he admits to being a child soldier for years and then gets angry with his dad and then leaves and then still has resentment to his dad, but then they make up. Yes, I'm alright with him because when he's to the others, he's he's a bit dark and broody, but like he's very supportive and stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he's like Dick Grayson in the comics, you know, he's not just like, get away from me, I'm broody, I was about mission, blah blah blah.
There's quite a big division between Dick Grayson and Robin as characters here. Because once he's in a Robin suit, it's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be F all this, F all that. And he's just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Maybe it's the suit. Maybe it's the suit is turning into a monster.
Yeah, because when he becomes Nightwing, he's fine. It's just like, because when he just bitter about him and Batman's breakup. It's like, screw my dad. F him.
I think he skews too. I mean, like, I don't mind it when he's, you know, when he went to go to be a policeman in Chicago, wherever it was, right?
Yeah.
Not Bloodhaven, because that's in the comics, right?
Yeah.
But and that was more of the mid '90s Dick Grayson when he was a policeman. So yeah, which I'm like, okay, fine, but I think at a certain point he's just like, yeah, we're just gonna put on that Robin suit and we're just gonna hurt people.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, okay. He never killed.
I mean, right? No way. Literally goes out there, 100 people to break arms and whatnot. But okay, you know.
Yeah, Batman does the same. You know, he's.
Oh yeah, but that's Batman. Batman
he's copying his daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, because we know Batman sends people to hospital, and then the hospital bills kill the people.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't kill people.
No, yeah, the hospital bills do. You know. Pending stress, like major stress and financial doom, is what kills people. Yeah. But yeah.
But so you think this portrayal of Robin is the best portrayal of Robin? Live action Dick Grayson?
I would say yes, because he's the only one that has like character development for. Obviously, got the TV show, so he goes from being like angry Robin to level-headed leader of wayward teens Nightwing. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's like, okay, you know, he feels bad about the death of Jason. I mean, there's bits in it. I'm like, okay, this is what I kind of appreciate this.
No, I'm not. I hate watch the show, right? However, I will say there's bits and pieces I do like of their certain portrayal of characters every now and then. However, then there's the overly too far gone Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, you don't need to do none of that. I don't even know in the alternate universe they just too far alternate versions of those characters. Which just makes me think, oof, yeah. Not the greatest in execution. But you think you prefer? Okay, are you one of those guys which prefer dark and brooding over a more light-hearted comic accurate version of characters? I'm not speaking about this character in general. I mean, there's the people that really do like Man of Steel.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
And we're like, that's not really Superman, you know?
Yeah. But
so I'm not just saying. I'm just saying some people be like, oh yeah, I like dark characters.
I'm not bothered. Like, I'm not too bothered if I'm honest with you. I don't mind either or other. I would prefer the sort of like, the meet in the middle version, which like majority MCU's kind of done. It's like meet in the middle, where it's somewhat camera error.
Yeah. The MCU have taken some characters' positive traits and highlighted them more.
Yeah.
So then you don't get the more negative traits. Which, like, Iron Man's not a drunkard.
Yeah.
Well, they're not always a drunkard, but
Yeah.
you know, like Teen Tony thing, right?
Yeah.
They completely ignored that, which
Yeah, where he died, and then yeah.
yeah.
That's so stupid.
And that stuff. So yeah, and he's probably Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark has way more charisma than even a flat picture, by the way. I want to say,
yeah.
But the comic version of Tony Stark does not have nearly that much charisma.
Hence why they sort of made him sort of that way now in the comics.
Yeah, exactly. They did the reverse, right?
Yeah. Well, like, it's gonna sound so kind of like what DC did with Shazam, right? It was in the middle.
Okay.
Like he, like in the film, like him and his family were all like the sort of like, I wouldn't say comic actor, but happy-go-lucky sort of stuff. But then the villains were kind of like murderous. So I kind of like that sort of mix into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get flack for this. Like,
go on.
I used like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. I used to like them, but watching them now, I'm like, these are the most cheesiest stuff I've seen in my life. I can't.
No. They're still good. They're still good.
They're still good, but I can't.
Those Spider-Man, that version of Spider-Man was not the wisecracking version of Spider-Man.
No.
Which is what he's known for. Which is funny because when you watch the first Andrew Garfield film, Amazing Spider-Man, he's wisecracking, but it's all dark.
Yeah.
He's like, well, okay, you know,
because it was the style of the time.
Yeah, exactly. You need something, like you're saying, in the middle somewhere. Maybe the best version of live action version of Robin would have been a bit of the Times Robin mixed with
Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Somewhere
in the middle, you would have got a Robin has the more similar personality traits to Dick Grayson.
Which I feel we might get in the reported, what was it, Dynamic Duo film? Where it's meant to be Jason Todd
and
Red Hood. Yeah. So,
which, by the way, I think I'm probably glad they are skipping Dick Grayson as Robin, because then you'd have to cover all the other Robins, and that's going to be a bit of a...
Not than that.
Especially if they're going to start with Damian Wayne, that's going to be a bit...
Yeah. Like, I always feel you have to start Robin with Dick Grayson. You can't just go straight to, like, Damian. Like...
Yeah.
It doesn't logically make any, even story-wise, doesn't make any sense. I don't know how you would write that. Doesn't make. Yay, son, who I didn't know until like a year ago. You're Robin now. Yeah. What's Robin? I don't know, but you're him. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sort of doesn't make any sort of sense. You know, you gotta have the legacy behind it. Like, you can skip out Robins. I prefer if they didn't, but you can skip Robins and go straight to whatever ones. But no, you can't. Not have.
Well, I forgot to mention that Zack Snyder decided to skip Robin. He did. He killed him dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing actually much to say about that Robin, other than people are assuming it's Jason Todd that got killed by the Joker because the Joker killed him. Yeah. But Zack Snyder's now it's Dick Grayson. It's like, well, okay, then what
But then, see, this is where it gets stupid for that, because you could easily say it was Jason Todd, because Batman's been around for ages in their universe, right? Yeah, so you could say, Jason Todd, Nightwing is, Dick Grayson's off somewhere. He could be Nightwing universe. We don't know. Sort of thing, not just... But then it would kind of explain him killing. But hey, I don't know.
And then, and then the hypocrisy of it all, where it's like, oh, you know what, I'm a guy who kills people, but I don't like when other people kill people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. So then we'll. Okay. Now we've spoken about the characterizations, right? We'll speak about the look of their costumes. Yeah.
Yes.
So what did you think of the 1940s Robin costumes? I know they're in black and white, so we're gonna assume. Actually,
we're gonna assume they're in color.
Ever see the George Reeves version of Superman?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the colored version of his costume? The when they film in black and white, it's obviously not the colors of red.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it.
So when they were filming it, if I remember correctly, the blue is a really light pale blue.
Yeah.
And the red is more of a copper I don't want to say blood red, but that that brown.
Yeah.
Just so the colors and contrast pick up.
Kind of like the Brandon Routh Superman costume. Because that red's not really red. It's kind of like
yeah. But no, because for black and white TV, they made those particular colors even more.
Yeah.
Directions. So Robin in the 40s, black and white, was probably black or brown top and a really light colored cape or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna assume, for the sake of accuracy, that they're gonna be comic accurate colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So going by the look of the 40s costumes, what do you think? They still look cheap, right?
Still look cheap, yeah. And it's one of those things I've let it off because obviously it was that time they didn't have like the sewing prowess as they sort of had like in the 60s and onwards. So they were I wouldn't say they're okay. I don't want to say they're terrible. So they're a borderline a pass.
Okay. Well, at least, look, you didn't see the Batmans, right?
No.
The Batmans had floppy ears.
Oh.
Can't you put a piece of plastic on those ears and make them stand up?
Jesus. Yeah. It's not like it was technology or something.
So both of those costumes, nothing notable, nothing to write home about, yeah?
No.
Okay, what do you think of Bette Ward's costume?
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Not really, but it's has a place in history and it has like a weird place probably in my heart somewhere.
I will
the first
say
one I saw.
It is the most comic accurate Dick Grayson Robin costume in live action media.
Yeah.
Yeah. You took a long pause. You did want to nod your head and say yes.
Nah, exactly. Cause I was kind of thinking of like, wait, because in Batman, no, that's technically Tim Drake's costume, and then Nightwing basically is Batman. Oh yeah, okay, yep, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it had the flesh colored tights, but what are you gonna do? You don't want to make a dude run out and
Yeah.
Yeah. But and going into the Chris O'Donnell costume, just as you're saying, yes. The first Robin costume from Batman Forever was, as you were saying, a Tim Drake costume, just with not the sleeves cut off, but the longer full arms.
Yeah, because you can't have like a rubber T-shirt. It'd be weird. But
yeah. But what do you think of this? See, would you say Batman's costume is fine having that kind of metallic sheen or whatever over it because it's dark and black and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Would you have preferred Robin's costume to be more looking like material?
Let me quickly have another look at it because I feel like the color's a bit too dark, but it is what it.
Yeah. It's like semi kind of. It's kind of a chrome wannabe-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like. His costume didn't want to embrace the brightness of Robin.
Yeah.
His Robin costume, right?
Yeah.
But not his Flying Grayson's costume, because that was also quite comic accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
But a comic accurate Tim Drake version of the costume. That's the thing.
So it's the sheen to it. Yeah, there's something about it.
Funny enough, would you agree with me to say that the most comic accurate Tim Drake Robin costume is the one that Dick Grayson wore when he was in Flying Graysons?
I don't know. No.
Okay. Then which is the most comic accurate Tim Drake version of the costume? Not for the Tim Drake character. I'm just saying that red and green version.
It might have to be the ones in Titans because they're all technically a different variation of the.
Yeah, except for Tim Drake's one himself, which is a variation of the Red Robin costume.
Yeah. Which,
Will you say also? I mean, you. I'm going to say something, and there's no way you can argue it, so you'll have to agree with it, right?
Yeah.
The least comic accurate version of the Robin costume was the one in Batman and Robin because he's wearing a Nightwing costume.
Yeah, that's the most least accurate one. Even though I actually do like that costume, but yeah.
Yeah. Wait. When he wore the red suit, Oh no, hold on. There's 2 times he wore the red version of the suit, and I know one of them was in the Nightwing series after New 52. But there was one he was wearing before. Was it called Renegade?
Yeah. When he joined Slade, so he can kidnap Rose. Yeah.
But which is more comic inaccurate? That Batman and Robin costume, the main costume, or would you say is the cold repellent version of the costume?
Ooh. I was only reminded how terrible that costume is until that video segment was like, wow, why would you do that?
It's got a silver codpiece.
Right? Yeah, okay. But then the other one, he doesn't have the codpiece, so why would you? Well, he has it, but it's not like as blatantly obvious as.
Well, maybe because the extremities need to be covered more against the cold. I don't know.
But why? It's so silly. Yeah. It's silly. I just don't understand it. That's probably the worst variation of the live action costume. It's just
live action Robin costume.
Yeah.
In fact, that's probably the worst version of the live action version of a Nightwing costume as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we will say that Nightwing costume in tie-ins is probably the best version of a Nightwing costume, right?
Yeah. Because it's the only one, really, when you think about it. Realistically.
Yeah, it's true. Well.
I think about it, I was like, realistically, it's the only one, yeah. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so you're gonna say that your favorite version of a live action Robin costume is the one from Titans.
Yeah. And that's kind of like.
Let me just throw a caveat in there for you, because I do think it's the most modernized version of the costume, and it's all right, accurate for the times.
Yeah.
Also, it's got the armor placement and stuff like that, so it doesn't look like it's just a fabric costume, but it's got fabric parts.
Yeah. Which
are I don't know, Kevlar bulletproof.
Pretty Kevlar,
whatever,
yeah.
But it looks like something you can wear and do stuff in.
Yeah, it looks practical. That's why when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay. And obviously it's on a budget as well. So I was like, oh, okay. They've done pretty well.
But even as a TV budget, I think it looks good.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
They film it in it's a muted color, so it looks more dark than the tone and atmosphere of the series, right?
Yeah.
If it was in the light, it'd be different, blah, 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 but we're not gonna. However, including all the Robin costumes, and we're gonna include Jason Todd's Robin costume.
Yeah.
And Tim Drake's Robin costume.
Yeah.
What is the best Robin costume in live action media?
I'll say
official, because sometimes they you got unofficial costumes and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would probably say the Tim Drake one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not trying to poke at you here and say, oh, that's not. Even though it's it's a Red Robin costume.
Yeah.
It's still the best live action Robin costume.
Yeah, because like, go on, you say?
No, I was gonna say I don't disagree. Actually, I do. I will say even it's a cool looking costume.
Yeah.
Even though it's a Red Robin costume, it doesn't matter. It looks cool. Yeah.
Because like it's
got the kind of like the jagged wings.
Yeah.
Going on.
And the cape that comes out from there rather than up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Jason Todd one, I did like it until a certain point. I think it's in like the second episode of season 2.
Yeah.
Was one episode of season 1, sorry, and then it's when you see Jason Todd live on TV, and he goes, "Yeah, the Titans are back, bitches." Yeah. And then you see like the chest plate, and it's like huge. I'm like, wow, that's a bit weird. And then I don't know, just that one, his one just looked weird to me. But
technically speaking, you could say, because in comics, Jason Todd is a little bit taller than Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the other way around here.
Yeah.
So you could say that it's Dick Grayson's armor, they repurposed with Jason Todd, but the measurements aren't exactly 100% representative of the. Yeah. The thing is, as well, in that series, Dick Grayson is the number 1.
Yeah.
And Jason Todd is clearly number 2, right?
Yeah.
He's just like, well, Batman does not care about you even more because he just gives you my leftovers.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even make it fitted for you.
No.
No wonder this man goes off and tries to beat up the Joker by himself and ends up getting killed, and then comes back and then try to murder everyone.
Just to prove a point.
Batman did the thing that I don't even know if you read the comics back as far as that time goes, where, and I think this is pre-Crisis, where Batman is still when Jason Todd's first Robin, and Batman's like, yeah, that's what the other Robin would do. Oh, you did just as good as the other Robin.
Yeah.
Right? And then they took it in the comics later on and started tweaking it to making it look like Batman's always comparing Jason Todd to the other Robin.
Yeah.
And that's where he gets his inferiority complex.
Yeah, because I think, have you ever read Nightwing Year One?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's kind of they talk about that kind of in that when the moments when him and Jason bond. He goes, "Oh, I hope good things come of Jason," and they're like, yeah. He kind of is like,
Yep. I will say personally, the I don't know if you read it, the Batman the Animated Series version of Nightwing Year One, but it wasn't Nightwing Year One. I can't remember. Look, the Lost Years.
Okay. No.
That was probably a better version of Nightwing Year One.
Yeah. Okay.
Nightwing Year One.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was one. Okay.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, I think it's called The Lost Years. He comes back.
Yeah.
And he sees Batman training Tim Drake.
Yeah.
In the Batcave, and he's like,
huh.
It's all cool, bro. It's all cool. I've been away for like so many years, so
you ready to replace me? Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. It's just like they had their problems. And
yeah.
Batman being Bruce Wayne being part of it, so
he's a problem to everyone,
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. So okay, you. I think that the next, hopefully, the next version of Dick Grayson will probably be the most comic accurate and best version, because there has not been one yet.
Yeah.
But you're making allowances for Titan's version, even though he's a bit of a murderer.
Yeah, even though he's a bit of a murderer, and
well,
a bit unhinged, but that's
Yeah.
But he comes more hinged in the end, but
but I don't know myself personally. Oh, I actually forgot to say, the Zack Snyder version of the Robin costume.
Yeah.
I know we see it's got spray paint over it, and I know you can kind of make out the muted colors of what the green and the red.
Yeah.
But they're so dark in the case that it's basically black. Yeah,
because I think what they did, if I remember correctly, they just modeled over the Arkham game Robin costume. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Did I like it?
Yeah.
It was there. It's like, I don't even really say that.
Exactly.
It was there.
Is it better that it's there than it wasn't there? Well, I don't know, because we didn't. As far as people are making it excuse of that's what triggered Batman to start murdering people because his Robin got killed.
Yeah.
If you want to use that as an excuse, that's fine. But
Yeah, but is it? No.
Yeah. Well, then why are there still people running around in Suicide Squad? He should have murdered them all as well. So.
Yeah. So it doesn't make.
You can't say it goes one way and the other way.
Yeah.
Especially since Superman kills Zod and Batman's not like, well done, because I would have killed my criminals the same way.
Yeah. It's one of those things. The more and more I think about the Snyderverse now, the more and more like I'm kind of glad it's gone. By the way,
I'm not mocking it for controversy.
No.
Character consistent logic. You'd be like,
yeah,
it's either this way or
that
way. Kind of. You can't really waver once you've set your characters to a particular position.
Yeah. So hopefully, the Gunverse, as it's been dubbed, does a lot better, which I feel it will.
Do you think Damien will be Ra's al Ghul's grandson?
They have to, because that's the only way you can sort of do him, unless they go the weird way about it's him and Catwoman's son, but then it's like, but then you got Helena away and you're making it all messy.
Okay, it's true. Yeah. Do you think they'll just not mention it? It's just Batman's son, bam, that's it.
I think they'll mention it, but either they have to mention it.
No, as in they just say he's Batman's son. Full stop. Don't need to work. No other information until they're gonna do their sequels and work out what.
Yeah, probably then. They'll probably like make a hint to it, like who's Shady Origins.
Nudge, wink, right?
Yeah.
To the people that do know.
Yeah, and then like in Origins or whatever, they will, or they might do the run. If Tim Drake's ever in any of the films, which I doubt he is going to be, they will throw that line in. Well, my brother is the grandson of Satan. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Grant Morrison.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Actually, from what I've heard, what James Gunn was saying, that the Batman was fine. Was it Batman Brave and the Bold? Was it Batman? Whatever one.
No. Brave and the Bold. Yeah. So yeah. That's one.
It's gonna be based on the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin run. It's gonna be like loosely based on stuff from that. So
okay.
It may. But then I got confused, like, but in the majority of that, Batman was actually Dick Grayson.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
But maybe he meant the persona.
Yeah.
No. Well. Yeah. No. Is he talking about the Batman and Robin run, or is he talking about the Batman run?
All of it.
Introduced Jamie and Wayne.
All of it.
Because that was still Bruce Wayne for an extended.
All of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well.
That's gonna be very confusing. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that works.
See, yeah.
Because is Superman meant to be when it was called Superman Legacy? I'd assumed that Superman had been around for a good couple of years, right?
Yeah.
But this is the way they're making it look like it's still early years of Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
By the way, I know. Did you read Earth 2? Yeah, Earth 2 back in the 2010s.
What, the New 52 Earth 2? Yeah.
So they're called superheroes because Superman was the first superhero, and they all kind of changed up. On Earth 2, they were called Wonders because Wonder Woman was the first superhero. Yeah. Right. So in the Gunn universe, in the DCU, are they called superheroes or are they not? And then the question is, if they are called superheroes and Superman decided, actually, I'm going to be the pinnacle and call myself Superman.
Yeah. I want to see how this. I'm very interested to see how they do it. Like, I'm
looking forward to it. By the way, I think it's. I'm
looking forward to it.
Bright and colourful.
Yeah, I just hope that all the there's no origin for heroes. I'm kind of done with superhero origins, if I'm honest. It's like, hey, this is just this person's story.
Allude to here and there, but like you say, with Batman, Superman, you don't really need to. Go backtrack through all of that. I would say even Spider-Man don't even need to, just come around as they did in the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Spider-Man already.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that,
Hopefully they stick with things like that. Yeah. Like some heroes, I get you have to do the origins, but a lot of them, I don't think you need to. I think I want to say, if people aren't, if certain people aren't. I say that the general audience, and that could be like through generations or whatever, because young kids might not know, and then every set of generation you introduce them, whatever, right? Yeah. But some people by pop culture osmosis will get the origin of the characters already, and you don't need to start from zero. Like Michael Keaton's Batman. Yeah. They kind of just explain what happened, but he's already Batman. Yeah. And then they did the Christian Bale version of Batman, where they're like, "We're going to spend half the movie, right? Yeah, explain to you who Batman is." Yeah. But which hadn't been done at that point. No. But then at least with that, they went more into his origins rather than like the Burton one, like parents dead, bam, then flash forward, I'm Batman. Yeah. Whiplash. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. All right. But that's like, say, for example, right? They made an X-Men movie, right? And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna tell the origin of the X-Men and go way, way back, even before like Xavier." Now, it's like, okay, this is how mutants are made. I'm like, wait, what? Why would you? You've had it out by everyone has the Osborn powers. You had it out, but no, you decided that you're gonna tell us how mutants are made. Yeah. I thought actually you were gonna go into this and say that's how they did the Times Robin and the other Robins, except for Chris O'Donnell. Yeah. They just bam, we accepted, but at that point, the Titan one's more acceptable. Yeah, the Titan one's more acceptable. He's like, "Hey, ain't you Batman's sidekick? F Batman." Like, oh, okay, yep, he was Batman's sidekick. The guy he's beat up told us. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Robin exposition dump. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know the Green Lantern movie where they just decided, oh, you know what, we're going to spend the whole 2 solid minutes at the beginning of the movie explaining to you the color spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which never came to fruition because there was never a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that Lantern show looks like it's gonna be okay, but
you're fine with them. So Hal Jordan's already a Lantern, and so is Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
And their basic character they're introducing to be the point of view person is Jon Stewart. Which I'm like, all right, fine. I think most people know Jon Stewart from the
Justice League cartoon. Yeah. So that's a cool thing because like 90% of people thought Jon Stewart was 90% of people around our age, right? Thought Jon Stewart was the first Green Lantern anyway, so it's all right.
Well, some of them, you know, I will say, I read Hal Jordan first.
Saying like,
no, I lie. No.
Go on, no?
Oh no, I did read Hal Jordan first. I was gonna say I read Carl Rayner first, but no, I did not actually. It was Hal Jordan first.
But yeah, a lot of people, because I remember someone who's a bit older than me as well, and he saw the trailer for the Green Lantern film. He goes, "What? Green Lantern's white?" I was like, "Sit down, I've got stuff to tell you." There's actually 4 at the time, 4 Green Lanterns, and you know, blah, 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 and he's oh, okay. I thought he was the first one because of the cartoon. I was like, no, cartoon just picked him because he was the most interesting. Plus, they like be diverse. What was the word? Diverse, yeah. You know. So
yeah. And I would say that Jon Stewart wasn't even comic accurate Jon Stewart because they had retconned him to be from the military afterwards.
Yeah, because they retcon it to in line with that, didn't they? Because like that makes more sense for his character than just I'm an archaeologist.
No, architect.
Architect, same thing. They're not the same thing. Yeah. They're not the same
one's
thing.
going around being Indiana Jones, and one's just drawing on paper, technical stuff, and you're like, nah, they're the same.
They're the same. All right. Both give them an A.
I will say, sometimes when you in archaeology, sometimes you have to recreate what the building does look like. So, like in the past, and you need them skills. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. See, you know, kind of right. I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the future Mr. Grayson. Yeah. But we're still calling him Grayson.
Do you think they're gonna? You're fine with it being a Jason Todd, Dick Grayson team up movie? Yeah,
because I'm like, cool. Both of them get like a time to shine. You know.
Do you think Jason Todd with guns?
I reckon it'd be probably at the point where he doesn't use guns.
Do you reckon they're going to be tasers
or rubber bullets? Probably rubber bullets.
Or they shoot batarangs, like the thing, which is pointless, by the way. Yeah, just either have guns or don't have guns.
Yeah, or just throw batarangs. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. Or do you think they're going to be they're going to throw Tim Drake in there and they call the film Robins?
Could do, because that'd be quite a cool venture, like the 3 Robins, you know. All right.
Yeah, and then you, even though only one of them is going to be Robin in the film, you have to explain the other 2. But
yeah.
Actually, you don't even have to explain the other 2. You could just be like, they all used to be Robins.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, you know. And then they could split off to do whatever they want later. Like,
I think, personally, that might be better as a TV series, because then you can have them all branching into their own... You have the core story that joins all 3 of them, but they have the separate storylines weaving across. Because in a movie, you're probably going to have too much time concentrating on a group, and then... how are you going to split the time between the other things they have to do that are not when they're together?
I feel like
civilian identities, whatever.
Sometimes I feel like the film could lead to the TV show.
Oh yeah, they could do one.
Yeah, because like this, and then it's like, okay, thanks guys, and then Tim's like, I'm gonna go and see my friends, the Teen Titans, enter Teen Titans, whatever, and then Dick's like, I'm gonna go and see my friends,
Young
Wally.
Justice.
Yeah, Young Justice.
Yeah, Tim will go, I'm going to see my boys at Young Justice.
Yeah.
Dick's like, I'll see my boys at the Titans.
Yeah.
And then Red Hood's like, well, me and the Outlaws, baby.
Yeah, me and the Outlaws. And have my annual falling out with Batman, where we're never going to speak again, but then we speak again.
Then we're going to introduce the Outlaws being Bizarro and Artemis, yeah?
Yeah. Artemis is the easiest one to introduce. One is like, the others
I'm just saying, because you know the original version of the Outlaws is Starfire and Red Arrow.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Which I don't know how they're going to introduce Bizarro in there unless one of the people in the new Superman film is actually Bizarro.
Yeah. Yeah, could be. Like, have you heard this weird rumor? I saw it the other day. I was like, what? Okay. Like, Ultraman's in it, right?
I see a guy in a black suit with a U.
Yeah, apparently it's Ultraman, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, thanks for spoiling that for you people. Anyway, and apparently some people think that's Henry Cavill.
Okay, yes, and I'm like, nah, that's look, if they're gonna do that, if they're gonna bring him back, bring him back as Injustice Superman, and Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, and his Superman could be consistent with the characterization of how his Superman has been.
Yep.
And then but then if they do a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, that is going to be.
It's too soon as well. Like, oh, okay, like one film in.
Yeah.
Crisis.
yeah. Exactly. You have to build to it because that'd be as big as their Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
/ Endgame.
Yeah. But we'll see. Look forward to the new DCU.
Yeah. We'll see how. I mean, I'm looking forward to Superman. So we'll see how it turns out. But it's looking well so far.
Yeah. Because I still need to watch Creature Commando, and I'm looking forward to season 2 of Peacemaker. That looks like it's me interesting.
Yeah, which they have to. Okay. So at the end of season 1 of Peacemaker, he speaks to Jason Momoa, Aquaman, and
Gal Gadot, Superwoman. Gal Gadot will Wonder Woman.
No, she wasn't there. Flash. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Oh, Ezra Miller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So, people are going to be like... Yeah.
See, I feel...
If they didn't show the people, those two, it'd been fine.
Yeah.
But people are just joking about what they just do is at the end of Peacemaker, at the beginning of Peacemaker season 2, they do the scene, but they have the new actors in that scene.
I'm like... And just make a weird little joke to it about it. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you look different in my memory.
Looks like Peacemaker's going to alternate universes in the trailers. So
I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe this is how they work around him. It's still counting, but being in this universe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Because remember, Blue Beetle is in this universe, but is.
Well, it's disconnected enough that it could be.
Yeah.
And also could not be. So it depends on whether if they want to get the Zolo Mandela back.
Apparently he's coming back. He said, like, I'm signed up for films, but he don't think there's gonna be a Blue. He's gonna be movies, but he doesn't know there's gonna be a Blue Beetle sequel. Like, oh, okay, so you're aboard for the ride, but we'll just see what happens. All right, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So back to these live action Robins.
Yes.
Okay. To the ends of the earth, right? You're gonna stick with your Titans Robin as being the number one, right?
Yep.
But not because he's the most recent, or because you would say he's the current version, which looks the most modern. You'd just be like, he is the.
Like he even looks.
You like best just because.
Because even to me, he kind of looks like a live action Dick Grayson.
Oh yeah, the actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you mean in the costume, out of the costume, or just like
both? Really, like it's just like a person who you kind of picture being him as Dick Grayson. Yeah,
I think they cast well.
Yeah,
I just don't think they wrote him well.
Yeah, I agree. Like as much as I like the show, I agree with you on that. Yeah. That's true.
You don't think his Nylon costume is a bit bulky?
It is, but then it's kind of bulky, but kind of realistic. Like, we don't have like stupid like nanotech blah 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 like body fitting, but it's actually Teflon, that rubbish, right? So I kind of alright with it being kind of like chunky.
Yeah, but you don't think like how the Robin costume had bits that are it says Kevlar, but it's done. There's actual material.
Yeah.
Whereas this Nylon costume's all like solid. I want to say plastic looking, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't think they could? Yeah. You think the Nylon costume's fine the way it is, or you think if they did a more a transition between the Robin costume with the Nightwing insignias on it.
I don't know, because I just looked at it kind of a second ago, and it looked. I thought it was a lot bulky, but it's not actually that bulky. There's bits where you can see like the material. I was like, okay, it's in the right places. That makes sense. But you may be right. Could have been a bit more less bulky, but then it might just look like solid rubber. I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's sort of a weird one.
What as far as, I mean, there is a signature look for Nightwing. It's got the symbol, and it's black and blue, right?
Yeah.
So there's not much more to it than that, right?
No.
However, there are variations of the Jason Todd costume, the Red Hood costume. And what kind of Red Hood costume do you think we'll be getting in the new movie?
I would go with classic leather jacket, a helmet.
Yeah.
Honestly, like combat pants. Yeah.
You don't think the hoodie, the red hoodie, the red sleeveless hoodie with the crowbar? Not that look.
No.
What about the symbol?
Oh yeah.
Because you know how, like, I didn't think. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Jason Todd is a Robin, and I think initially they have him with a red bat symbol, right?
Yeah.
But I do prefer the new symbol they have, which is like the mask, but kind of like angled.
Yeah, the mask, but it's kind of like the Batman symbol, the chunky Batman symbol, but with the eye bits of the mask. Yeah. I don't mind that one. Yeah.
But I think that makes more sense.
Makes more sense
as a symbol for the character itself. That sets him apart from being I want to say not a Batman knockoff, because it's not, just like a splinter group.
Yeah.
Of some sort. Yeah.
Like, because at first I didn't like the new Jason Todd costume, where it's just that like the half a mask and he's in basically like street clothes.
Yeah.
It's kind of grown on me now, but then I don't know, like seeing live action, I think it'd be weird.
He needs to have more of a costume,
yeah,
rather than something that he stole off the army
base or whatever.
Surplus warehouse or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to counter myself a little bit by saying, if there was a comics accurate Scarlet Spider costume, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, but that's different.
Comic accurate.
Yeah.
You know, like what they do now with movie costumes, give it a bit of texture in the underlining and stuff like that. And then, but if he's wearing like a hooded thingamajig over it, you know, I'd be like, yeah, Scarlet Spider.
But you know what? It's because it's iconic. That's why I think it's all right with it. Because this Jason Todd one, it's not really iconic, is it? His first costume really is. So it's like,
yeah.
You look out of place. Yeah.
Just imagine, by the way, you're playing Jason Todd, right? Red Hood. Not only have you got some body armor on, right, which must be hot, yeah, because it's not gonna be lightweight and stuff like that. Then you got to put a leather jacket on top of that.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It doesn't make any logical sense.
Oh boy, you know. Charlie Cox was saying how sweaty that Daredevil costume gets. Yeah. Just imagine you got more insulation on top of that. Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you also hoping for a more accurate representation of Dick Grayson Robin later on, when we eventually do get, I say Nightwing because we probably jump straight to Nightwing, but at least the origins and the backstory. Or do you think they should just jump straight into this is the adventure that's going on right now? You know.
Just jump to the adventure what's going on now. Like, yep, you're Nightwing. You know, we'll tell someone you was Batman. Well, you was Batman at one point. We would tell someone that you was Robin, and then move on from that. Yeah.
It's
the best
that
way.
That probably makes sense, because why would you need to? I say introduce his backstory, but there's going to be, if you're doing a film with Nightwing and Red Hood, how are you going to throw origins in there as well?
Yeah. And then at this point, like, okay, maybe you could give a bit of a backstory to like Red Hood, like, but like Dick Grayson's origin is like common knowledge at this point. You know what I mean? Everyone sort of knows. Yeah. He was Robin,
And
parasite.
I didn't even have to redo the original of Jason Todd. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, well you know, you boosted the tires off the Batmobile, so I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah,
son.
it's just like throwaway sort of lines.
Chosen. You try to, you know.
You got kidnapped, basically.
He found you in the streets. What you doing? You know. What kind of idiot trying to steal that sort of I want to say, you know, brotherly banter sort of thing. But it depends on how hardcore they're going to try and make Red Hood. So they're
probably making redeemable, if anything.
Yeah. I don't even think they'll go to the point where he's irredeemable, but he just might have anger issues.
Yeah.
I will say, okay, if we're lumping all the live action Robins, right?
Yeah.
Not just the Dick Grayson version, just every single live action Robin. Who is the most comics accurate live action portrayal of Robin?
None of them.
None of them?
None of them.
I will say Jason Todd.
Oh, from Yeah.
No, not just in Titans. I mean, like all the
Yeah. Jason Todd. Yeah. That's how Jason Todd is. That's how he was is how I'd envision Jason Todd when he turned Red Hood, because he seemed a bit too young to be that. But anyway, that's like that's how I picture Jason Todd to be.
And you were saying about him saying Titans are back, bitches. I'm like that's why I expect Jason Todd to be overly cocky as Robin would do.
Yeah, and trying to fit in too much, which got him killed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Him.
So we're saying, even though we were talking about Dick Grayson's Robin, the actual best Robin live action is Corian Walters playing Jason Todd.
Yep, that is actually him. Yeah.
What do you think of the live action version of Tim Drake? I know we covered it before in times, but just to cover a bit more now.
He was okay. I felt like it gave him. He didn't have much to do, and they kind of like rushed all of him into like. To just like that, and like, oh, okay, so because he didn't really have any interaction with Batman, did he?
No,
it was like,
does anyone really?
No, but like then it's like, okay, you're Robin now. Oh, okay, cool. And then maybe in season 5 they would have established more of it, but no, so it just ended with like, I think he's going to Gotham to train with Batman, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. And he didn't mind that he was a mixed race or anything like that.
Nah.
I don't think I'm mad.
No.
He was bisexual as well in that. And I'm like, oh, that's a recent development, but what, you know?
Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Even when it came out that he was bisexual in comics, like, okay. I mean, I didn't feel like...
Yeah.
I was like, he has...
No, but I'm just meaning, like, they in the series, the TV series, they're like, well, it's part of the character. Well, we're going to adapt right off, you know?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Because, like...
Yeah.
Tim Drake's always come off as like, I always didn't think he was like straight. That doesn't make any sense. But I always thought like, because him and Connor's relationship was a bit weird. So I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, but that's probably not what they meant when they were doing it.
Yeah, but I can see why they picked that. Like, okay, someone accidentally decided to put these traits into him, so we can use that to thread to do what we're doing now. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, it's not like the Iceman one when that was like. None of this makes any sense.
Yeah.
You just did it to do it.
And I will say, I mean, as much as I dislike the Titans show, which is not a huge amount, I just sometimes like to rag on it, right?
Yeah.
I believe that version of Tim Drake's origin better than Tim Drake's origin in the comics, where he's like, oh yeah, I saw it on a videotape. Right, it's supposed to be really great detective. They worked out how Dick Grayson was Robin, and then from that he worked out Bruce Wayne was Batman. But when you see how he did it, you're like, the people writing this are not detectives, and they're like, right, so we have an angle here of Robin in the warehouse, right, doing the front flip, and then we see the other angle of him when he kicks the criminal, so he completes the flip. It's the quadruple flip or whatever it is, right?
Only one person.
Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah. I was like, that's hardly detective skills.
That's like sheer luck, if I'm honest. I mean, like, it's just like
yeah.
Kind of like sheer luck. Like, oh, okay.
And then it gets even more tricky when they do the thing where, I think just after 0 Hour, and they're like, oh, Batman's always been an urban myth. It's like, well, how can he be on TV on a CCTV warehouse footage, whatever, if he's quote unquote never meant to exist in the first place as far as the criminals go? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I do like that, by the way. The criminal see as an urban legend, it doesn't exist in I mean, not the criminal, but the general population.
Yeah.
But you can't reconcile Robin's origin with that.
Yeah.
Tim Drake's origin with that if you're going to be. Unless he actually did have detective skills, proper ones that worked out. It's just like,
yeah,
nah,
but
we're just gonna.
It gets too muddy when you think about it like that. It gets a bit too muddy. Like, so how did this guy, how did this kid, also a kid, find out about an urban myth who only criminals have seen? But then he was able, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Maths ain't nothing.
The other thing is, did you know they were gonna do? I believe at one point the Graysons TV show.
No. Why would they do such a thing?
About the Flying Graysons and Haley's Circus. And I'm like,
the least interesting part about Nightwing.
Yeah, but you know how it is, right? They love to do origins. If we can't get the main meat of the material, yeah.
Yeah, but
we'll do the stuff that we can do stuff about.
But like Pennyworth makes sense, right? Because Alfred's got a whole history behind him and stuff. So yeah, that makes sense, right? But to do the Graysons, and this is even before, I'm guessing this is before the Court of Owls became a thing as well, right? Like,
I can't remember what I think maybe when Gotham finished, they were thinking of doing that.
Oh, okay. Then the Court of Owls it would have been a thing by then. But yes, it was like John and Martha. Well, wait, what's there?
Mary.
John and Mary Grayson. No one cares about it. Like, what did they do?
Yeah.
Like, is it be some melodrama?
Just wait for the point that Tony Zuko appears and starts getting that knife to slice the
With all that, no one cares. Like, Dick Grayson barely even mentions him. Shows how much he cares. I mean,
it's true.
Stupidness.
And you say that as well, by the way. Some things don't need an origin story, but you got Krypton.
Yeah, but
Superman's granddad. Not even Superman's dad, by the way. He's granddad.
Oh, then okay.
Which, by the way, wasn't a bad show.
Oh yeah.
You still gotta watch it.
I still need to watch that. But at least Krypton's important. Like the planet is important to Superman's origin, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you can kind of get around that, like as a stretch. We can kind of get around that. But yeah, the Graysons. I don't want to know about the other Haley farm people. Not even farm. Carnival people. Like, did they do anything? The only one that did something was that guy Ray, whatever, and then he got kidnapped and turned blind.
Wait, which guy was that?
What's his name? Sir. It was in the early New 52 Nightwing series.
What, the guy called Psycho?
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah. Because he was a part.
Did he get turned blind? Did he get turned blind? I don't think so.
Yeah, he has no eyes. Yeah.
He was the one you're talking about where the Court of Owls, they were thinking, oh yeah, we want that Dick Grayson to make him one of the talents, right?
Yeah.
And then when he got adopted by Batman, they're like, oh well, we'll take the guy who's the second best, and then then they're like, no, actually, we take him, we train him, and he's utter rubbish. Let's kick him out.
I think he's blind.
Or whatever. Is he blind as well? I don't know then.
I think they took his eyes. I don't know, or I might be making it up. I'm not really sure, but it sounds right in my head.
There's that other guy as well who had the white and yellow costume that appeared in New 52. That storyline better than Batman, remember?
Yeah, that's Rapture. Yeah, not him.
Yeah. And then they had the guy called Strike as well, which is like, okay, but these all could have been the same person.
Yeah. All could have been the same person.
Yeah.
Let me make sure if he's blind. I may have made that up. I don't know why.
Yeah. You just mixing the origins to make him a bit more intriguing.
Is he blind?
I think you'll find out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
He wasn't blind, but maybe.
I know. I'm pretty sure you're right. Alright. Doesn't realize Dick Grayson.
You're gonna retcon it into my mind that he was blind, and I'll be like, oh, that's a knockoff Daredevil. Speaking of knockoff Daredevils, oh my goodness. So you've seen Daredevil season 1, right? Where the Kingpin is they've taken him away at the end of the series, and then Daredevil knocks over the truck or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Dick Grayson in the Titans does with Tony Zuko.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, then Maroni's people appear, and Tony Zuko's like, "Oh, you gotta help me, you gotta help me," and then Dick Grayson, "I'm just gonna stand behind the pillar," and then you get shot down to death on the bridge. Even though I knocked, yeah, but yeah, it's just gonna be,
Well, I'm only
it's one of those where I didn't kill you,
but I don't have to save you. Yeah, I have to kill you, but I don't have to save you from these rogue bullets. No. Yeah, I think I made up the blind thing. It doesn't say anything about being blind. I made that up. I don't know why.
I wonder whose origin you actually were referring to.
Oh, I think there's someone in the story who's blind. I think the girl that they both liked or something, she's blind or something like that. Yeah. I think it's someone in the story who wasn't the main character.
Red hair who was part of the circus.
Yeah. Or someone in the circus was blind. I don't know.
You know what? Here's the thing, right? We'll just leave it there, right? Because eventually what's going to happen is that we're going to find out that person isn't blind. You're going to think another person. And then we're just going to
go around in circles.
Find the person who's blind.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Huh. So yeah. Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say none of these are particularly comic accurate at all, but
no.
Whatever.
Creative liberties, I guess.
Yeah. Sometimes a bit too liberal, but
yeah. But hey,
And I can't say I'm glad. Well, no, I did watch the Batman serials, and they are something, right? But would I watch them again? I don't think so.
No.
I don't.
No.
Which is funny as well, because when you see the DVD covers, right?
Yeah.
The way you seen the reworked Adam West Batman movie cover?
Yes.
Where you got the buildings, right? That kind of like a kind of a dark yellow tint.
Yeah.
And then they got a bat signal behind him, and he's standing in front of it.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to be from the Tim Burton universe, or whatever it is.
Like why would you do that?
And then you got these two covers as well, where it's Batman in the 1949 one, where he's swinging with Robin, but they're both in the shadows, so you don't really see them.
Yeah.
And then the other one where, what's it look like? Where they're standing on top of like a building, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the shadows, but you get the hints of the colors of their costumes. It's like, wow, you people are just trying to mislead people into
of course, yeah.
But when they pick up the DVD and they turn around the other side, they're gonna see.
Yeah, wow, this is trash. I'm not buying this. Yeah.
Well, some people watch these.
Some people enjoy it. I can't say it's trash. It's just not for me. Yeah. It's just me.
Well, to be fair, it is cheap. You can definitely say that.
Well, was it cheap at the time?
I will say even at the time it was cheap.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Then you may be right then. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So that is our review. Well, our look back at the live action versions of Dick Grayson, but we threw in the other Robins in there as well.
Yes, we
just
did.
for the lols, because there's. I want to say there's a lot. Well, the only Robin we have not spoke about is Carrie Kelly.
Yeah.
From
Gotham Knight.
And that is better not spoken of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be fair, she was not Robin in that series.
No, he just nicknamed her Robin, innit? Something like that.
Did
something like that. She says something. I can't remember what it is. You're like,
well,
okay.
I thought it was something like they were like, oh, she was Batman's sidekick, and then they just be kind of, But then actually, she's not Robin.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was like a year or two ago we watched that show.
And Stephanie Brown is also there as well, because she was Robin for a short period of time.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But they weren't particularly comic accurate, and you can't really say much about them.
Oh.
Other than Stephanie was a teenager and she had brown hair. She had blonde hair and she was white.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Carrie Kelly probably should have had ginger hair and be. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, by the diversity, whatever.
Yeah. It is what it is.
When are they going to stop replacing the ginger people? That's what I want to know.
I know. There's something to get angry about. Oh. But, yeah.
And they cast non-ginger people to play gingers. What is up with that?
I know. It's a conspiracy, man. It's a conspiracy, if I'm honest.
What colour is Jimmy Olsen's hair in the new movie?
I think it's brown.
Yeah, and Jimmy Olsen in Superman and Lois?
Brown again, yeah.
And Jimmy Olsen in Clark and Well,
Brown.
Lois and Clark, New Adventures of Superman. Brown and Brown, because they had two actors. One light brown, one dark brown, yeah?
Yeah.
And Jimmy Olsen in Smallville was also kind of a more sandy blonde.
Yeah. Huh.
Justice for gingers, that's what I say.
Yep, I'm on that. I'm on board with that.
Even Matt Murdock doesn't even have ginger hair.
No. At least they didn't dye it, make it look weird. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I say, Black Widow did have red hair. And then she dyed it blonde, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I remember like, oh yeah. That was weird.
That wraps us up for this version, this episode of Trip Around the Multiverse.
Yes, sir.
I'm the man who wears pixie boots, CY Chong.
And I am the man who is too old to be adopted, Carl Charles. Because he was. I won't go on says. Thank you for listening.
To be fair as well, all but one of these live action Robins. Well, okay, hold on. We don't know how old Brenton Thwaites' Robin was when he was adopted.
No, we don't know.
So maybe two of these Robins would have been young enough to actually be adopted.
No, but we do know because he talks about.
Oh yeah, he's saying he's 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, because he talks about when him, Wonder Girl and Wally and someone else were at the Wayne Mansion, and he was just trying to sneak downstairs to listen to the adult speak. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, and thank you for listening to us speak about Robins. Well, the live action interpretations of Mr. Richard Grayson, aka Dick Grayson, aka Rick
Grayson.
Yeah, Rick Grayson. Yeah.
AKA Agent 37 of Spiral.
Yep.
I'm sure he has a Matches Malone identity of some sort.
Yeah, he does, isn't it? I think it's a recent one. I remember a big thing about it on the internet about it. It's something Malone.
Just another thing as well, randomly. In the Batman 1943 serial, he pretends to be a gangster to go to the bars and stuff like that, right? And I thought, oh, Matches Malone, except that Matches Malone already existed at that point. And I was like, oh, that would have been, I was like, oh, is it going to be? But then I realized, actually, I'm too far forward in the timeline.
You're skipping ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for listening to us talk about this. Who is your favorite live action interpretation of Mr. Grayson? You can let us know in the comments down below, or even let us know on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I've added it all to the top banner now. I've changed that. If you can see, the overlay is different. I changed that.
Do you agree with me that none of these are comics accurate whatsoever, and actually none of them are the persona what you expect from Dick Grayson / Nightwing / Robin when he was Robin?
Yeah.
Or do you believe, like Kyle, that the darkest Robin is the greatest Robin?
Yep,
apparently.
The darkest timeline Robin is the best Robin, in my opinion. But yeah, let us know. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a review. And yes, and then until next time, guys, thank you for taking a trip with us. Oh, sorry about that. My hay fever's kicking in. I don't know why he's doing it this time of night. Take a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.
Boo, boo, boo. F Batman.